Have you ever been in awe of those who conquer Everest, standing tall amidst its breathtaking grandeur? Well, the climbers face extreme dangers and difficulties as they ascend this majestic mountain. But that's not all. There's more to Everest than meets the eye. The growing number of climbers for commercial reasons has caused problems, impacting the environment and the local workers who assist them. And this dark side of Everest is rarely discussed. Climbing Everest can be exciting, but it's causing big problems. Lots of trash, human waste, and even the remains of climbers are left behind. This year, 17 people have died on the mountain. The government makes a lot of money from climbing permits, but the families of workers who die don't get much support. The Sherpas, who are crucial for successful expeditions, face tough challenges. They do dangerous tasks, like crossing the dangerous Khumbu icefall. Although they may earn more money than others, they don't have enough insurance. If a Sherpa dies while climbing Everest, their family gets only a small amount of money from the insurance. This money is not enough to meet their basic needs or show how valuable their life was. Sadly, climbing Everest now means local workers like Sherpas are making a tragic sacrifice. We cannot ignore this problem and must find a solution. As we think about this situation, we must ask important questions. Is it worth it for brave people to risk their lives to reach the top? Can we truly be proud of such an achievement when it comes at the expense of others? Another brave person, Purvis Sherpa, who was in the Nepali army, died while trying to clean up Camp 4, making Everest beautiful again by removing trash and waste. It's really heartbreaking. These sad stories show how much risk the local workers face, but they don't get the attention they deserve. Instead, people focus on theft, rescue fees, and bad actions by climbers. This unfair system makes the less privileged workers risk their lives for the benefit of those trying to conquer the mountain. What used to be a passionate and extraordinary adventure has turned into a business all about making money. The mountain is also suffering because climbers leave tons of trash behind, ruining the natural beauty. Moreover, the impact goes beyond nature. The history of climbing Everest has some unfair parts, with privileged people claiming the mountain without caring about the local lives and the cultural importance of the peaks. Climbing Everest as a business has created many problems involving politics and money. People really want to reach the top, which creates more issues about what's right and wrong. We all have a part in making things better: climbers, companies, governments, locals, and everyone around the world. The Nepali government is like the conductor of Everest, leading the climbers. But some problems need attention. In 2019, the Nepalese government issued a record 381 permits this season, with about 140 more climbers attempting the peak from Tibet, not including professional climbing Sherpas. Unofficially, there are reports of more than 700 summiteers, including climbing Sherpas. The record set in 2018 was 802. China addresses crowding on their side of Everest by issuing fewer permits, and many outfitters have moved their operations to the China side. The problem goes beyond just the numbers. Some guide services on the Nepal side may not be up to par. There are concerns about local companies taking inexperienced and incompetent climbers up the mountain. In 2019, 15 out of 21 climbers who died on 8,000-meter peaks were clients of Nepali organized expeditions, rather than international guide services working with local outfitters. Guides try to strategize and avoid the crowds, but it's challenging. Leaving camp a few hours earlier or later can make a big difference in their day. However, communication between Western guide services is more effective compared to other operators. The issue is sensitive because the climbing industry in Nepal, which used to be dominated by Western guides, has seen more Nepali-owned companies in the past decade. These companies often charge lower prices and cater to clients on a budget. While the crowds may not directly cause deaths, they certainly increase the risks by requiring longer summit days and changing the dynamics of climbing Everest. An elite climber this season, German alpinist David Guttler, attempted to climb Everest without supplemental oxygen, a style preferred by purists but riskier. He had to turn around about 200 meters from the top because of the crowds and the additional risks it posed. On one end of the spectrum, a Canadian cinematographer shared a report on Instagram describing scenes of death, chaos, and overcrowding on Everest summit night. The post has since been deleted. Others expressed a more mundane perspective, comparing the situation to waiting in line at a busy ski resort. A filmmaker from Wyoming, part of the National Geographic Society team, mentioned feeling frustrated and bored due to the long queues and eventually decided to turn back without reaching the summit. The problem was not limited to one day. Jones, as part of the commercial team, helped lead their expedition to the summit on May 23rd, the day after the infamous photo was taken. According to him, the trouble arose when two individuals held up a line of 50 climbers, refusing to let others pass. As a result, the majority of those waiting had to endure a delay of approximately 2 hours. Despite waiting and hoping for the obstructing climbers to move, no progress was made. In a recent post, Alan Arnett, a longtime Everest blogger, speculated that 5 out of the 11 deaths that occurred during this season on Everest might have been influenced by overcrowding. Eric Murphy, another guide from Alpine Ascents and a colleague of Jones, emphasized the consequences of poor decision-making. He expressed concern about climbers proceeding to the summit without sufficient oxygen to descend safely. To mitigate the risk, Murphy's team conserved their bottled oxygen while waiting for others to pass, ensuring they had enough supply for the higher parts of the mountain. According to experts, the slow-moving lines on Everest result from both leadership and technical issues. They believe that climbers with Sherpas should take responsibility and step aside to let others pass, rather than relying too much on the Sherpas. The use of certain climbing techniques also contributes to the traffic flow problem. Some climbers attach an ascender to every rope, even on flat terrain, which slows them down during transitions. A regular carabiner would be faster and still relatively safe on flat ground. Making these transitions with an ascender might take an extra 10 or 15 seconds each time. Considering there are around 600 transitions on Everest, this could add up to more than 2 hours. Simplifying the process could save time and make the climb faster. Climbers should take charge and try to change things. Reaching the top shouldn't be a race, but a careful journey that protects nature and respects local workers. Mountaineering should be about sharing cultures, loving nature, and growing together. It shouldn't be a noisy competition that ignores people's lives and feelings. The key is to be sustainable and responsible. We should offer different experiences, celebrating the culture, nature, and spiritual importance of these special mountains. This way, local communities can thrive and not just rely on Everest for money. To protect the mountains, we need strong rules and policies. We must manage waste better, follow leave no trace strictly, and teach climbers to be more careful. The problems with Everest involve ethics, the environment, and the local communities. Making climbing a business hurts the mountain and the brave workers, causing problems for their lives and